Hey guys, Tech Agent here. Today we have a review on probably the most classic headphone ever made, um, last century. Now, yes, last century. So this is a really old headphone, but it still holds up. Probably, it is still state of the art in my opinion in terms of sound, fidelity and stuff. It's just amazing, and I think it deserves more recognition because it's highly underpriced. The price this guy goes right now on Amazon is pretty less, and I think it deserves to be a bit more than the suggested retail. But that's just me, to each his own. But anyways, we have the Beyerdynamic, as the Germans call it, DT880 Pro. This is the 600 ohms. It's a fairly collectible and rare headphone. You don't find the Pro 600 ohms that often anywhere. So it's a fairly collectible headphone. It's very rare to find, very hard to find, and I'm lucky enough to have one of these. So this is a 600 ohm Pro models. Usually Pro models are only 250 ohms, but this is a 600 ohm again. So as far as I know, I made a video on it a couple months ago, in which I'll explain how and where you can find the Pro 600 ohm models, and how you can locate those in what part of the world. So you can check that video. There'll be a link in the description. But we have the Pro 600 ohm. Now this is a very comfy headphone. I mean, just look at it. It's got to be comfortable. If it looks comfortable, it probably will be comfortable, and this is very comfortable. I prefer the DT770s, which I have right there, or in terms of comfort and stuff, because they are much more deeper. But the 880s are just fantastic in terms of comfort, at least compared to other headphones out there in the market. The headband is removable. Everything right here is removable, and it's made in Germany, so the build quality is absolutely fantastic. The joints, everything is just amazingly well engineered. It's mostly metal and plastic, but mostly metal. The mesh right here, I mean, this is like the highest grade metal I think I've ever seen. It's really high quality, and the velour pads of traditional to Beyerdynamic are just amazingly comfy. So other things other than the sound are just top notch in my opinion. Really amazingly well engineered. In terms of sound quality though, the 880s have a very clean impulse response, much like the HD 800s. Not as clean as the HD 800s, but very close. And nobody ever has talked about the impulse response of the 880s. People talk about sound signature, but they never talk about fidelity. That is the main problem with all reviewers out there. They talk about okay, this has accentuated bass, this has accentuated mids, has rolled off highs. People talk about that, but they never go inside the grain, the clarity, resolution, transparency, fidelity in general, and nobody talks about that. Very few people like Hi-Fi Guy 528. He used to talk, now even he does not talk, and Tile, even Tile does not talk about those things. So it's kind of sad when people don't talk about fidelity and stuff, but I am gonna talk about fidelity and stuff because that's what I do. The fidelity of this is hi-fi. There is no doubt about that, and hi-fi means high fidelity for the people who don't know what that means. It has a very good bass response in which it's extremely tight, well extended, and goes down low, really low. Sub bass presence is quite excellent, compared to something like, let's say, a 650, which I have right there. The bass of the 650s has more mid bass, so makes it more fun for hip hop and stuff like that, because you get that more dynamic mid bass. But with this you get the sub bass, which will give you more kind of a bodied experience. It's not as accentuated and extended as the 770s. 770s, if you like sub bass, they can give you some solid sub bass, which is extremely tight, precise, and well extended. It's at least the 250 ohm, in which it's extremely tight, going down low, which is very hard to find in any dynamic headphone at any price point for that matter. And the DT770, as far as I know, is the only headphone that does that, except the Fostex headphones. But those are $1,000+ headphones, and I've not tried those headphones. So for me, the 770s are a killer of the D7000, D5000. I've heard the D7000s, but the 770s, in my opinion, will give you a much more kick in the sub bass, which I really like. The mids of the 880s, a lot of people complain to be recessed compared to Sennheisers. I have the 650s, I have AKGs, I've just got a lot of headphones right here. I know what sounds good, and I just cannot agree that the mids on this are recessed by any, it's just not recessed. They're very coherent, but at the same time they're not in your face and accentuated. They're a bit distant, but the presence is still there. If you don't trust me, run test tones, run specific songs where okay, this part should be very close to my ear. If it's very distant, then that means the mids are recessed. I've done a lot of testing before I make reviews. That is what my reviews take a long time. Even this, I would have made the review after 2 years when I get a proper hi-fi amplifier. But I thought, what, I have it, so let's make it and make a tribute for this fantastic headphone. Soundstage is pretty good. Much better than the 650s. Not as good as the extremely wide presentation of the K702s or K7 series, but still really acceptable in my opinion. Quite excellent in my opinion. The soundstage is really kind of lifelike and very natural sounding. The treble, a lot of people complain that it's a bit tizzy and metallic sounding. Most of the time, I think that is the amplification part. These are a very I would not say it's a hard headphone to amplify, but if it's a warm amp, it can sound like a warm headphone. And scalability and stuff like that of this headphone is fantastic. Now a lot of people, I don't want to take any names, but they say they can run a 650 out of an iPhone. Here I have a 650. I'm not going to run this out of my iPhone. That's just stupid. So for the people, if you want to trust those people, then go ahead, do that. But I'm not one of those people who's going to trust that guy. So in terms of technical understanding, I think the 880s, they're not extremely hard to amplify, but they will change their sound and they will scale up with extremely high equipment because they are 600 ohms. So you get a really good damping factor if your output impedance is, let's say, 0.1 ohms. Some of the bioelectric stuff is 0.1. So with those, it's just magic. It's going to be really, really good sounding because there'll be a good authority on the driver, and the amplifier will take good care of the driver and really amplify the signal 100%. That is what we want, and that is what the 880s will give you. 880s are classic headphones. I think they are absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend these. These are probably the best headphone ever made. They're highly underpriced. They're highly underrated. People on HeadFi compare these headphones to M50s. They compare this to MA900s. Compare this to 598s. They compare this to all these cheap crap headphones, which, there's just no comparison. I just don't see it. So if you want the right knowledge, come here. Because my reviews are 100% honest, and I own all of those headphones, and I'm making fun of those headphones, so I'm not biased towards anybody. I like the 880s. I think they're a classic. They're a must-have. At least the 600 ohm models. They're just world class in my opinion. They're just without a doubt hi-fi headphones, and I absolutely love them. For the people who think these are mid-fi, those people can suck it. I don't care. This is the world's best headphone for the price, and I love it a lot. This is a great hi-fi dynamic headphone from Beyerdynamic, who made the world's first headphone. So I highly recommend this headphone. It's made in Germany, high quality. It's underpriced. That's the best thing, right? You're getting more performance for the price, and it's extremely comfortable and very well built too. So I highly recommend it. Beyerdynamic for the win. I love the 880s. I highly recommend them. I think I'll see you guys next time. Take a look on HeadFi, the review which I'll be doing. I'll be comparing the 880s to all my other headphones, namely the 650, 770, HE300, AKG, K702, 598s, Ultrasounds, Denons, Sonys, K240s, HM5s open. Also the DT150s, which should come here very soon. So a lot of comparisons going on as a tribute to this absolutely fantastic headphone. I think I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy and have a good one. All right.
Train on the later side, looking for a place with a little bit of life. Pretty tough, we can't deny that I thought about stopping more than once or twice. Oh no, some more advice. Keep your head up while you push to the side, and maybe with a bit more luck, you can get picked up from wherever you lie. It's not